All right, looks like we should be live. Thank goodness my computer turned on and we're back live. So in this live stream, we're gonna go over mixing beats and vocals. Funny enough, guys, I literally like a second ago just found my multi-tracks from my album that I made back in 2018. I pulled the album down because I didn't like the imagery and like the message it was putting out, because I want my brand to be a little bit different now that I'm a family man. So we're gonna mix the tracks, the multi-tracks today. You guys will have access to all the multi-tracks. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio that we mixed today. So I'm gonna give you guys the project files. We're gonna mix into FL Studio right now, and let me delete all these audio tracks I have. So let me say my hellos real quick. So with things we're gonna cover: EQ, compression, mixing, mastering, mixing beats, mixing vocals. Y'all may need to mix my vocals or re-record. Can you listen to my beat? Not right now. We're doing that on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Trapos is first. Neil is here. What up? All right, so let me load up a song. So I have so many here. Let me show you guys the screen real quick. All right, so I found a folder that said 808s and Mermaids, and funny enough, it's the actual projects. Now, I don't know if there's multi-tracks. It looks like it is. All right, so now the thing is, I don't know if these tracks are already pre-mixed, because chances are I probably pre-mixed them before I just put them up. Anyhow, I don't remember making any Balenciaga ballin'. So this looks like the actual pre-mix. So let's see what this sounds like. I don't even know what these songs sound like. It's been so long. All right, so let's see what this is all about. So first thing I do is I drag all the multi-tracks into FL.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese.
Let me turn off the master because we don't want to hear double the volume.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese.
I don't think I did a verse on this one.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
Now this doesn't have a kick, it just has that bass.
Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese.
Right here. Here's the kick. So what I'm gonna do here is rename all these tracks to actually what it is. Yeah, I don't think this is a song verse. So next step in dragging and dropping stuff is figuring out what's what, because this stuff's not labeled. So I think this is the bass up top. So I'll go on the top, I'll rename this bass. I forgot I even made the song. Balenciaga Ballin', that's hilarious. Can y'all see the screen? Hold on, let me make sure. Okay. We got 22 people in here. I need y'all to smash the like. Let's get this party rocking. You guys will learn how to mix songs, beats, vocals today. All right, so first step is just figure out what's what. What a coincidence, I just recorded my first song. I need to record my hook and maybe re-record the whole track itself. Ah, dope. Thank you, Anaka. Yeah, if you guys ever want courses or anything, just go to busyworksbeats.com. We have over 60 music production courses for free. Trial. All right, 14-day free trial. I'll link it and then I'll pin it up top so that you guys can have that. Boom. So we have courses on pretty much everything except for Ableton and Logic. Or no, we do have a Logic Pro one, but it's not like super hardcore deep. And we don't have a Pro Tools course either. So again, I'm just renaming stuff. Let's call this like roads. You don't have to rename everything, just stuff that you're not sure about. This looks like a clap. So we're renaming it before we send stuff to the mixer. This is like a dark clap. Here's the hi-hats. I was on someone. I was on the West Coast. I was making the West Coast beats every day. If you guys want to make West Coast beats, look up JP Bang's new drum kit. I'll type it out. He's the go-to for the West Coast sound. Produced for like Jay Stalin and them. All right, let me figure out what this sound here is. Little rim sound. So again, first up is organization, and then I'll show you guys how to organize your sounds in the mixer. We have so many tracks here, I gotta move a little bit quicker here. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball stuff, to be honest with y'all. So what we can do now that we have everything, we can double click on it in the channel rack, go to your mixer. Actually, you don't need to go to your mixer, just double click in the channel rack, hit Control L. It will send everything to the mixer. So I'm gonna quickly eyeball stuff. I can kind of tell based on the waveform. So let's open up a new channel here. Let's call this drums. And we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna rename this one like vocals. Is there a vocal one? Let me see. Vocal. I'm seeing if there's a pre-made thing. We'll just call it hook, because technically it is a hook. And drums, hook, and then instruments. So let's make another group track called instruments. We'll just call it like melodic mix. Okay, whatever. So visually, I like to see where stuff is. So what I'll do first is I'll identify all my drums, and I'll hit Alt left and right to move the mixer channels around in FL. And I do this so that I can visually separate sounds, because it's very important when you're mixing to know what's happening. So I can kind of tell what's what.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money.
I forgot I did a little harmony for y'all. Yo, I forgot I did this. We're mixing my tracks from a project called 808s and Mermaids. I made it back in 2018. I completely forgot about this. Like, I literally forgot about this. All right, so what we need to do, let's do this. We need 2 vocal stacks. So one is like a B section and the other one is gonna be vocal. All right, so I need to separate all these sounds still. So all this stuff right here is the melodic mix. So I'm gonna move this melodic mix group over. So I know this is the boring part, but I'm telling y'all, when you start actually mixing, if you don't organize, you're gonna confuse yourself big time. So then I'll just highlight all these, hit Control, left click all these sounds, and right click route to this track only. So now all these channels are going to this one group, the drums. And if you want to get fancy, you could highlight all these and then right click, create a separator. Actually, I did that wrong. Let's do that again. You can create a group. And I think this may or may not do what I think it's about to do. Hold up. Okay, so when you create that group, it separates the stuff and it colors it all one color for you guys. So now all this is routed to this drums track, and it creates a separation and it creates a color. So you can visually see, here are my drums. If the drums are too loud, I can visually see, here's my drums. And the same thing with your melody. So this will organize your sessions a lot more. Was just halfway done watching your last live. Yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit more accurate because now I actually found my multi-tracks. I'm actually kind of pumped I found my multi-tracks. I literally just found them like 2 minutes ago. Like 1 minute before live streaming, I found my multi-tracks. I had no idea what genre you finna make. So yeah, so it's mostly hip hop. So again, I'm just identifying sounds here.
Oh yeah, that's that girl. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the girl that you love to see. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. That you love to see. Oh yeah, that's that girl. We Balenciaga boy.
Damn, my voice is all high pitched. Now I'm like, oh yeah, that's that girl. Oh yeah, that's that girl. Man, I need to practice vocals. I was doing harmonies back then. What the freak? All right, let's highlight all this. We're gonna right click, create a group. Let's create this a melodic mix group, and now it's gonna make it all that color. Now it looks like it does also group it into what is this here? I think it creates a track for us too. I didn't realize that, but it also creates a track for us. I didn't realize it did that. So that's another fast way to do it. So next time I won't do the group beforehand, but you live and you learn. Okay, so now we have the drums group. Really, this, we could delete this channel. It's nothing there. But for now, we're just gonna leave it. This really isn't, it's a hi-hat, so this needs to be renamed actually. All right, so anyhow, we gotta figure out what this is. Okay, so we're gonna highlight all these channels, and right click, send it to the melodic mix track. Now also we need to make sure that this doesn't have an individual sound come into it. Anyhow, what we're gonna do is check the channel rack. If anything's numbered 22, we're gonna take that number off. So no, nothing's 22. All right, and then now we need to figure out these vocals. Which one's the hook?
Speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. I'm all about the...
I gotta find the other track that's singing.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
All right, so that one got caught up over here. So this is a vocal. Okay, so first step, organize. If you don't organize, you're gonna just confuse yourself to death, especially when you have more than like 10 tracks. It's gonna be confusing.
Speaking Guapanese.
We're gonna route that to the hook. Right click, route to this track only.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking.
All right, I even did dubs.
Speaking Guapanese.
All right, I didn't realize I did this much.
We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking.
All right, so 16. So you can hit Alt right to move tracks around. Just gonna save the naming right now because it takes too long. We're gonna right click, route to this track only, right click. So now all these tracks are going to the hook.
We Balenciaga ballin'.
So it looks like I did 3 tracks and then pan 1 left, right, and center.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah.
Seems like what I did
We
here.
Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga.
Oh, you know what? This might be a group.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah.
I didn't realize that was a group track. So that's why it's important to organize, because you won't even realize what's already in your session. So in that case, we had the hook vocals twice.
Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
Also, we had the melodies doubled up, so we could delete that.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
Also, one thing I do is I separate out the bass. So technically the bass is going to be on a separate channel here. Let's add that separator. I'm going to take the separator off that channel and put it on this one here. Actually, we need to put it on the hi-hat. So separators go on the left side of stuff. And let's create a group track here called bass. Then we're going to send our bass to the bass track. Right click, route to this track only. So I separate bass, drums, vocals, melody, like that. And if I have multiple vocals, like a lot going on, I'll separate the hook from the lead vocals as well. So that's how I organize my stuff, as you guys can see. Okay, so now everything's in its own place. And let's, yeah, this synth is from the Moog Subsequent 37. That's where I got a lot of these sounds. Okay, so now that we have all our tracks, let's route everything over to her.
Speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about.
All right, so my simple formula: pan left, pan right, pan center. I work in 3s when it comes to vocals. That usually handles a lot of the clashing that people have. Really not much going on there. I'm just gonna either turn the vocals up. So for the hook, pretty simple. We're gonna add the 1176. You guys have seen this a million times. For those who haven't, my favorite compressor back in the day was the LA2A. So you can either use the LA2A or the 1176, either one. So let's use the LA2A for now.
I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese.
So here's before. Also, you can hit Alt, right click to have everything highlighted in a group when you guys are soloing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all about the
Here's
cheese. You
before.
ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah.
Here's after.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah.
Now it's at Pro L2.
We Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah. We Balenciaga ballin'.
Now, 90% of my vocal chain is how I recorded. I recorded in a Neumann U87, going through an Avalon preamp into a Universal Apollo 8 interface. You guys got to record clean first, then start adding plugins. Most people are just recording terrible recordings, which I understand, and then they're trying to fix it in the computer, and you need all these plugins to make stuff work. That's why it's best to just invest in a great acoustic environment. If you guys need help doing that, I would highly recommend the GIK Acoustic Company. There's something called the Portable Isolation Booth. I have 2 of those, and on top I have a GIK acoustic panel as like a ceiling that I created, and then I have a soundproof blanket that my fiance had. I forget what company she picked, but shout out to her. She plugged me up with that sound blanket, so that covers the open gap basically. So it's like a booth basically without building stuff.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah.
So here's before.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese.
After.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money.
You can kind of hear my room because I didn't have all this back then.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't.
But there's nothing to EQ. Okay, it's just, it sounds good. Okay, so anyhow, that's how we're gonna do that vocal.
Cheese, you ain't talking about the
Let's just level it down a little bit.
cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah.
And that do, that's me whistling the melody.
Cheese, you ain't talking. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese.
So the synths don't really need mixing. They're pretty cleanly recorded. Outside of reverb or delay, a synth doesn't really need cleaning up unless the sound just was bad to begin with. So synths you're not going to really be mixing when it comes to hip hop stuff, unless you need a very specific like halftime effect or something like that. All right, shout out to the 38 people here. We're mixing hip hop. Dan Tanner. Yeah, this is a track from 2018 when I lived in California.
Cheese, you ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese.
So now on the bass, let me get this, where's my bass? We're gonna hit Alt, right click. The bass could be thicker. Let me pull up the parametric Q3, see what kind of frequencies we're working with. So this is a very flat bass because the levels are flat, but also the flat sound to it is very compressed, and it's also heavily saturated. So to make it less linear, what I could do is boost or create a resonance point inside of the waveform. So we're gonna boost it at like 60 or 75 hertz, probably 60. Yep, we're live. I'm gonna exaggerate this so we can hear. So that kind of helps that sub energy instead of it just being like a flat thing. Now the other parts of the sound, it has a nice high tone. There's no rules for this. We're just gonna boost up the highs using a high shelf. Now I do want those highs to be wide, like a little bit wider. So let me see which plugins I have on this computer. Hopefully this doesn't crash my computer. All right, so what we're gonna do is separate the highs. This is so tedious, but we're gonna widen just that high band. And if it's not, it's a mono sound because it's coming out of a Moog. So we're gonna stereoize this to make it wide. So now all that glitter is on the sides now. This makes the bass feel bigger. We could also do a little something to the mids. So now it doesn't feel so flat.
Ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
So at this point, we need to figure out what is the vibe we're going for. Are we going for trap hard drums? Are we going for bass bounce? And are we going for what kind of energetic vibe? So let me load up the kick section so that we can hear what the kick sounds like with this. So the kick is very lightweight. Let's push it a little bit harder just to see what kind of tone we can get out of it. We're gonna load it through a standard clip. I'm gonna go -2 dB. How do you deal with trying to keep pushing, making beats as a beginner? I find it sometimes hard to be motivated when I'm making a lot of mediocre beats. You gotta learn something new every day. Learn 1 to 2 things every day and apply them every day. And just understand it's okay to be a novice. Just stop. Most people, they try to be like Metro Boomin, their first beat, and they're just like psyching themselves out. It actually makes you worse when you think that you're that good right away. Trapo's here, what up? Mac Productions. How'd I miss you guys' comments? What up? I made original hip hop beat mix, 1 genre of instruments with hip hop melodies and West Coast drums. Dope. Somehow I missed that comment, my bad. Thank you for being here, Kasi. Neo Producer is here with genre. We're doing my old beats and tracks. So yeah, the number one thing that taught me Python in 30 days was doing little increments every night for 1 to 2 hours. That's it. Little tiny advancements. I wouldn't try to do everything all at one day. That would have messed me up. But the main thing, you got to learn new stuff. You can't keep doing the same thing. Let's boost this kick real quick. So now we're getting some level out of that kick. I'm going to start monitoring our group track, our mix bus. We either need a limiter or I'm going to use some UA stuff. Let's use a UA precision limiter, I think it's called. So this is just making sure we don't have any peaks past 0. Turn up the stomp a little bit. Maybe funny. I don't know what was in me to come up with this beat. We're doing mixing today. I'll do another live where we do like patterns and everything. But I have a lot of check my shorts. So if you're just new here, check my shorts. I did a lot of recent drum pattern type stuff on my shorts. I think it's called like drum patterns for music producers. Okay, so what I'm listening for is what do I need to make wide? What needs a little more animation? So right now the stomp could be a little bit wider. And I do have all these plugins. I just don't have the code to log in on it right now. So these are all owned. I just gotta plug in the code for it, which I don't have on hand right now. So we're gonna widen this stomp. We're gonna turn it up and then stereoize on mode 2. Another thing I do when I'm mixing, I usually turn off the bass and the kick so my ears don't get too fatigued. Hopefully I get to the studio Friday, record the lyrics for it so that Friday I can play a song on Friday. That's a lot to do on Friday. Hopefully you get there in time. We go live at 3 p.m. Eastern time for our song feedback. 3 p.m. Eastern time song feedbacks on Fridays. So I don't know if you can get a session that early, but hopefully. I'm currently using 2 KRK 8s with 2 i2 Focusrite. I got the DT990 Pro Studio headphones and Rhodes NT 4 microphone with an Akai MPK Mini. Is this good equipment? I mean, if you think it's good equipment, I don't know how everybody has different work styles. I don't know. Depends on what you're trying to do. I'm not trying to be vague, but that's the truth. We gotta find that stomp. Here it is, it's coming up. So we're just widen that out. Also, I have a nice synth that goes dun, 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 dun. In the back. I want to figure out what it is so I can turn it up. Okay, I'm gonna turn that brass. Now also, I'm gonna go to the actual track and turn it up itself. It's called Insert 16. This track here, we're just gonna left click the clip gain and turn it up. Because it's a lot of the rhythm is in this one. Let's start panning some synths to the right to create like a dimension here. This must be reverb that I didn't know I had. The rows are panning left and right. So those are fine. Okay, so I think the original sound was a synth, and then maybe I whistled it out. Can't remember how this track came about. So now the track will have a little more dimension without using an imager. Could you record with the Shure SM7B for an untreated environment? They say SM7Bs are a little more generous to people who don't have the best treatment in the world. But at the end of the day, physics is physics. Like, the math of it all is that when we speak, our vocals go everywhere. They don't just go forward into the microphone. They go off. They go upward, backwards, through our head. You know, they go in every direction, and then every direction bounces off the walls and comes back into the microphone. So we're not just recording our microphone. We're also recording our environment. Probably the cheapest way to get started is just like a sound blanket, maybe just one soundproof blanket. Do the Travis Scott thing, put it over the mic while you record. The only problem with that is like comfortability and like, are you gonna hit the mic with the blanket? You know, you gotta think of little small stuff like that. But that's probably the cheapest way to go, is just throw a little soundproof blanket over you before you record. You gotta stop the vocals from going everywhere and coming back into the mic. So let's try to push the drums a little harder. I'm trying to think of one more plugin we could mess with. We could, let me try Saturn 2, but I doubt this is the sound we're going for. Let's try it though. So right now I'm just trying to give the drums that extra like crunch. Let's turn this up, threshold up. That added a nice sound. So what it's doing is every time the kick hits, whatever surpasses a threshold, it starts to saturate the top of that sound and it squares off a sound. So now the kick's turning in, it's going from more of a sine wave to more of a square wave now because of that saturation. So now it feels like it has more aggression on it. We could also push the kick a little bit harder into it. Turning stuff up. Gonna pan the hi-hats a little bit to the left. Now the question is, do we feel the beat? The answer is yes, it has a groove to it. Now at the end of this, we can see the volume gets bigger here, so I gotta figure out what that is. All right, so here I have basically a solo. We're gonna chop this and then turn this clip gain down so that it matches or is a little bit louder.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', yeah. We Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese.
So that section, I like that the brass is kind of fighting with the vocal. I think that's a cool little change up. So at this point, I'm done with the individual stuff, the groups. Let's save this. I think I have RC20 on this computer. I didn't even know I bought that. Let me see if this works. It probably won't, but let's try. Yeah, wrong computer ID. I do have it. It was on my first computer, I guess. Okay, so now what we're gonna do for this total mix, you know, let me think about what we need to do to the sound first. Hold up. Let me go all the way back.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese.
The sound is wide enough. Let's just listen to what's happening and then ask, do we really need to make it more of that thing or just leave it as is? So with,
yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking.
I think we have the stereo imaging done well. The volume.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
I feel like we could maybe use some more high frequencies here. So for this one, I'm gonna try Spectre. Spectre is not just a simple EQ from what I understand. You could also do like harmonic shaping with this. So let's switch this out for like a tube, which gives us some harmonic content. Let's do it for the high mids.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about.
If we boost the highs too much, it starts to like make the bass sound thin.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga.
It's probably my Neumann. It had to be my Neumann U87 going into an Avalon 737. And then that went into a UAD Apollo 8 at the time. And then I just recorded in my studio. You should make more content on beat arrangement. I have a new video on how to arrange beats. So go check out my newer stuff on my channel. I did a video about it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking.
So let me figure out where, if we even need more energy or if we need less energy on this track.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese.
We might need some like 120 area.
Balenciaga ballin'.
Thank you, Ice Mike.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese.
So if your song kind of lacks that like home bass solid sound, try looking at like 1 to 200 hertz. Usually around that fundamental of your vocal is where you could pull up a little bit. I'm doing this on everything, but you could also try it on your vocal to thicken out the sound a little bit. So this track was missing a little bit of that, at least before the kick.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah,
let's turn off Spectre for a
yeah,
second.
I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah.
Also, I kind of only want to mess with the sides as far as boosting the highs. I don't want it in the mono because it makes it a little hard to.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah,
All around, what up?
we Balenciaga ballin'. You ain't talking about the cheese. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah.
So now at this point, I'm just asking, what else can we do? If anything, add more compression for more dynamic. Let's try some compression real quick. So every time the kick hits, I want it to purposely pull down the volume, because think of it like EDM, how they have side chaining. I'm just doing the same exact thing. So more dance records have a lot of that movement. And one mistake I would make a lot with mixes is not leaving enough dynamic room. Everything would just be loud, and then it would just be loud. It wouldn't actually have movement to it.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese.
So I've learned to embrace movement.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah. Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
Also, let me show you guys a more advanced technique. You can select your sidechain input. Now, instead of, most people use a high pass filter because they only want their compressor to clamp down when the high frequencies are triggering the compressor. They don't want their kick to trigger the compressor. Me, I want the opposite for this track. I only want the compressor that every time it hears the kick, it turns everything down. Or lower frequencies, I'll say, it turns stuff down. Instead of hearing the clap and then it compress, I want it to hear a kick and compress. So we're doing the opposite. So anything below about 150 usually is where a kick sits. You could also select, like, do you want the input sidechain input to be mono or stereo? We're gonna put in mono so that we're not listening to the side information, even though there's not a lot of low frequencies on the side. So now only when the kick hits, it will trigger the compressor.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, 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 I'm all about the cheese. You ain't talking about the money. You ain't speaking Guapanese. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin'. Yeah, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
Now we just got to get it louder. So that's my philosophy on compression, is just some tracks need that movement, and that's how I separate stuff out so that it doesn't listen to everything. Now FabFilter is the most accurate software company to do that, in my opinion. Let's see what limiter what we could do with this limiter here. Now we're just gonna push the gain until it gets like,
yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
This is about as hard as I would push. So again, let's do a before and after so people can really hear what happened. So here is before.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese.
So this is before. It sounds very cool, but it's very linear. Here's after.
Yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about.
Now, as I turned everything up, now my ears are going, okay, something's too loud. So in that case, I would just start turning stuff down. There's like a certain lower frequency that's stacking up.
About the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
I just realized I had a whole group track. That's why that sounds loud. Okay, I had a double, so I'm glad I did that because that's not supposed to be doubled up.
You ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
So now I'm gonna turn these up.
You ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah.
So we're not doing anything to the vocals, we're just letting them be. But again, that starts with recording right, or decently enough.
You ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, I'm all about the cheese, you ain't talking about the money, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', yeah, we Balenciaga ballin', you ain't talking about the cheese, you ain't speaking Guapanese, yeah.
So the ending, I would kind of mess with that brass level a little bit more, maybe turn it down a little bit. They not like us. It's like, no. Medicine, thank you. So that's what I would do to this track. You guys will get the project files for free, so if I just went too fast and that was just too much, you guys could get hands-on with that. I'm gonna put all this at busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. So I have another track we're gonna mix, so give me a second to load it up. That's where you guys can get the project files for free. Let's set up a new project. So again, we're just mixing tracks, just focusing on mixing in this stream instead of producing. All right, so that was Balenciaga Ballin'. Now I kind of forgot what these songs sound like. Depression, what does this even sound like? What is depression? Or depression? This is more of like a Weekend, the Drake type vibe. Kanye type bounce. I don't think I have vocals on it though. Yeah, some stuff didn't make the album, so it's there, but it's not a full track. What's I Got What You Need? I don't remember any of this. I know it when I hear it, but I don't remember the titles. What does this sound like? Let's see. Oh, this song? I don't think this has vocals on it. So this would be an example of side chaining. Yeah, that doesn't have vocals on it. I'm trying to find something with vocals on it. What is Maui Strain? I don't think this has a verse because I would have remembered. Salute for being consistent. I have so much going on right now that I just do a video every 2 weeks. Life been lifing. I mean, life is. We are literally living in a movie. We went from 2008. Actually, no. It all started back at 9/11. So we went from 9/11 to dealing with the aftermath of that. Then we went into the Afghanistan war, which started all of Call of Duty, basically, made it popular. Then we went into 2012, where everybody thought the world was going to end, which I did myself. And then we went into the Drake era. For me, it was college, so college was just crazy back then. Actually, no, I went to college in 2009. What am I saying? Anyhow, so, and then 2020 happened, which was a movie that my grandmother has never even seen. And then we went into current day. You saw what just happened the other day, not too long ago. I won't say it because I don't want to trigger nothing. We are literally living through the craziest stuff ever. So I think it's just, we just live through the craziest stuff. But we chose this life, so. Let me see what I did with this. I kind of forgot what this is. I don't think I did a verse on this one. Shows how important a good vocal chain is. That just sounds so clean. All right, we mixed this other track called "We Love" the other day, or the other stream or whatever. So I don't think we're gonna mix that today. What else did I have? Your order. I just need something with vocals that has a lot of tracks to show you guys stuffs. Let's see what this is. I probably should have done this before going live. I think this is a Sound Oracle loop. The songs are pretty dope sounding, actually. All right, what is this one?
I want a new car when I wake up. When I wake up.
Let's do this one. Why was I on a whole West Coast? Yo, what was I doing back then? Bruh, I was doing so much West Coast stuff back then. I remember all I used was my Korg Kronos, my Subsequent 37. Those are like the two synths that I had, and maybe my Prophet 6 here and there. I had them on a 3 keyboard stack. All right, let's mix this West Coast one. You guys will get the project files. I forgot I even recorded this. What is this called? When I Wake Up. Alright, so first thing I do, again, I figure out what's what. So we have vocals and we don't want to hear doubles. So this looks like a double from here and here. These look identical. So let's figure out what is what first. I think I recorded, I wonder why it says record. I don't know, but either way, it's the entire track. So we're gonna delete that, delete the master, and delete any current files that FL Studio also adds in. What's your opinion on vocal presets? I'm sure you have heard people selling vocal presets from artists. The thing is, if you don't sound like the artist, the vocal presets are just bull crap. But I do see what people are selling. They're selling like the signal processing flow But you got to think about it this way. I'll just make this simple. Yeat's vocal chain, unless it has something like a phaser or chorusing or like some really advanced creative effects, most of the time it's just his vocals through autotune, through compression, and then maybe delay and reverb. Like, I'll give them credit for the delay and reverb part because that's outside of just the vocal chain. But it's like most of the other stuff, like dynamic compression and, or excuse me, multi-band compression and everything, dynamic EQs, that depends on the vocal coming in. So if I mix that for Yeat and then I give it to you and you don't sound like Yeat, it's not going to make sense because his vocal register is different than everybody else's. So certain parts of it I don't like, certain parts I understand. But at the end of the day, most people are using the same exact vocal chains. It's not like some complex thing. But again, I give credit for those who study like the parallel chains and the saturation and the, you know, they have like different parallels. Those, that there has value there. So it's a yes and no. Let me hear what's what on here. So again, first step, identify what's going on and then route everything to the mixer and group it. And make sure you don't have any doubles because this looks like a double. Let me mute the vocals. It looks like a group.
I want a new car when I wake up. I'm chasing cars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up.
All right, so the carrier should not be audible. That's going to a vocoder. So that's what that sound was.
I'm chasing cars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm and go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. I'm chasing cars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up.
Oh, I did a verse to this, but it's not on here. Either way. Okay, so we have a lot to organize here. First thing I do is I identify drums. Like stuff very transient heavy is obviously a drum. Stuff less transient heavy is most likely a synth. So all these transient things. Just gonna solo them and then we're gonna send them to the mixer. I think this is, and then this one. This might be a drum here. Yeah, it's like a percussion thing. Here's a riser cymbal. So now we have all these audible. We're gonna look at the number, or we could double click, hit Control L. We're gonna do this for each one. So it's 4, 5, and 6, hit Control L. The reason I'm doing this is because I probably could have did it actually a different way. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, why did I do it this way? Let's just go to the channel rack, hit Control L. It's gonna route everything to the mixer and give it a name. So now that whatever's I'm visually seeing, these are all the drums. So I need to find them and put them all near each other. Highlight, hit Control to highlight, hit Alt to move stuff around. So now I'm putting everything close to each other and I'll group them in a second. I swear I had a kick. Okay. So these look like all the tracks I could find. And now we're gonna highlight all these, hit Control, left click, and then we're gonna, whoops, oh my gosh, I messed it up. I gotta do it again. We're gonna highlight these, we're gonna right click, and then go to where it says create a group, and we're gonna select drums. Now it will create a separation, and it will also allow us to create a group track called drums. Okay, so I think this drum group though, I don't know why I renamed this drums, because these are not drums. Let's rename this percussion. So that's the only flaw about this is, oh, you know what, I should have highlighted. I don't know, I'm not sure how that works. What we're gonna do though is we need to find an empty channel, hit Alt, and pull it all the way over to the drums. We need to designate this as the right click, rename this, and let's call it drums. So now all these sounds, we're gonna hit Control, highlight all these, right click, and route to this track only. So now all those sounds are going to the drum track, drum channel. I think you could just hit Control G, there might be a shortcut for that. but I don't use all the shortcuts in the mixer though. Okay, so now we know where the drums are. We're gonna mute them, and if we ever hear more drums in the future, we know that we forgot to route something. So that's how I usually organize. With the FL Trial, are you not able to send things to playlists from new time? I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. You should be, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say yes or no on that. That's very specific. Sorry on that. So let's separate out the bass. Let's hit Alt, pull this over. Now, I'm pretty sure there's only one bass track, so let's just call this bass. And again, we need to create a separator. So all these tracks that aren't organized, we're gonna hit Alt and just pull them outside of everything else that's organized. Now we gotta find all the vocals. So anything that's not a vocal, so I'll consider the talk box vocals not part of the vocal because it's a special process. Yeah, it's like if it doesn't send to the playlist, I don't know what else to tell you. Was Able Beats participant in your beat battles back then? Able Beats, yes, he was. Shout out to Able Beats, the West Coast G-Funk. There's him and then Sharif, who's also good at West Coast beats. So again, now we're just trying to figure out where the vocals are. This is why you gotta label your tracks in your mixer so that the mixing engineer doesn't bite your face off for not having stuff organized. So let's get rid of any kind of telephone effect vocals. Let's pull those out. So again, anything I solo should be a vocal.
Cause when I wake up, I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly.
And then we're gonna right click, route to this track only. So now all those vocals are going to this track. Again, you guys can avoid all this by being way more organized, but the short is we're gonna right click, add a separator to the left side here and do the same thing for over here. We should have created a group, but we're just gonna do it that way. So now all these are organized. We need to move all the stuff that's not organized to the right. Alt, right. Move it to the right. And let me see. Boom. So now we have whatever these tracks are, probably instrumentals. I'm gonna label this talk box group. Also, I'll just put the reverb inside of the instruments here. So something. All right, so this sound should be with the drums. So here's where you start to see, okay, I have this in the wrong group. And this is why we did all that hard work. So now we can put this over here. So the rest should be instruments and just reverbs. We're not gonna organize this because it's just stuff to the right. All right, so now we have everything grouped. I know that's tedious, but that's the first thing we have to do is organize stuff. Typically, this would be a lot more visually appealing, where it's like bass red, drums blue, vocals yellow or whatever, and then instruments green or something, so that they're obviously different colors. Because when you have a ton of tracks, you gotta visually be able to move around and know what's what. Excuse me, now in Pro Tools, they'll also change the color of the track. In FL, it doesn't, so that's gonna be a little confusing for y'all. All right, let's go back to the vocals here. So let's figure out where we have the vocals. And here's where I start leveling the priority of sound. I go, okay, is the bass supposed to be the important thing? Is the vocal supposed to be the important thing? And I'll do it in groups. So I'm looking at only bass, only drums, only vocals, only instruments. I'm not looking at every single channel when I'm doing this decision-making process right here.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm and go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars.
So I think the vocals should be the loudest thing here. And what we're gonna do is group all these into the instruments channel here. Okay, so now I'm thinking again, drums, vocals, bass, instruments. I'm not thinking about anything else.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees,
So I think the drums are a little too heavy.
I want a new job
bass
when
is
I
more
wake up. Calm and go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm and go hard when I wake up.
So in my opinion, it's like vocals, instruments, then drums, then bass. So we're probably gonna change that over time, but that's what I can hear as far as my ear telling me what's important for this specific song. So let's see what we can do with the bass. First thing I'm gonna do is just fill out more of the low end. Let's look at like 60 hertz, 75, whatever's closer, usually I boost that. So it looks like 60, we have a lot of that here, so let's boost that. I usually boost until I can feel that bass. Did I meet DJ Khaled in person? No, I haven't. Talking about me or somebody else? Maybe somebody else saw DJ Khaled. Not sure. Then I have to ask, okay, what's the width of this sound feeling like? Can I make it wider? I think the answer is yes. So again, we're going to do the same technique. Take the high end of the bass and widen it using a stereorizer, like Image Isotope. Oh, I was thinking of 3 companies. We want to stereorize it using an imager. This one is from Isotope Ozone. So I can see this is a mono signal. I recorded it from my mono synth called the Subsequent 37. Oh no, I didn't meet DJ Khaled. No. Let's separate the highs. Those high frequencies on the side are going to grip the ear a little bit more. Also, I think the kick has way too much energy. Let's turn the kick off for now. I think we have 3 claps. So let's pan left, right, center. Oh, you know what? It looks like we only have 1 impact. Never mind. So I packed an instrument over here. Again, wrong group. Let's move this over. Take off the separator. And then put it with the instrumentases. Again, the right side of the mixer could be a lot more organized, but we don't have time to be doing all the little tedious stuff. So again, you could hit Alt. You could do Alt, right click to select the entire group, and it will unsolo that group. So let's see how we can get width out of the sound without adding stuff. So let's see what we have. Now some stuff's already panned, like this percussion is panned to the left. So we have a deep, and then we have a dirt on the right side. So that's balancing out. Everything I pan to the left, I usually balance it out with an equal or opposite sound to the right side, even if it's not at the same exact timing. There's not much we really need to do here. Maybe turn up the shaker for a little more dynamic. Now we have like 3 snares going on here. We really don't need to widen this, but let's see what it sounds like. So we lose some of that like feel when we widen it out too much. So I'm gonna leave everything. Now this kick. I mean, I like the tone now that I hear it soloed. So what we're going to do on the bass, though, is make sure they don't clash, because that's going to be a huge thing. I did this before, but we're going to find our kick track. We're going to find the bass, right-click, side chain to this track, go to your parametric EQ, or the Pro Q3 in this case. Go to the settings, go to the wrench tool, processing, right click, select your kick as the input. So now in the bottom right, we're gonna go to collision mode, and this will show you when these two are overlapping, which is somewhere around this area. We're gonna lower this down, auto mode, trigger, turn it on, and then now every time the kick hits, it lowers the 808 or the bass in the area. Not only does it add a little dynamic to the track, like a sidechain pump, but it also makes sure that we're not clipping every time the kick and 808 bass hit. When you try to mix and master a beat, I just don't offer the service. I'm just trying to show people how to do it. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. If I were to do it though, it would have to be, I don't even know. I don't even know what I would charge, because the time it takes to mix is insane sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. So I'm going to be lazy and kind of group everything into one compressor here. This is the super lazy way to do it though. We're going to use LA2A because that was my thing back then. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tracks, 9 tracks. Look, it's like maybe 11 tracks going into this group vocal. So when people are like, yo, my vocals are weak, how do you make them bigger? Sometimes you just got to record 11 takes and don't put auto-tune on everything. You want them to be different, like subtly different, because all those little tiny differences will make the sound nice and full. What up, The Gift? Westside Ninja, can you skip that and just add a basic sidechain? You talking about from the kick? You could, but that means every time the kick hits, it turns the entire bass off, and I don't want it to turn the entire bass off. I just want it to turn down the lower frequencies so they don't clash. That is a technique though, to sidechain the entire sound, but I don't want that every time. So let's hit Alt, right click.
Wake up, palm tree cigars when I wake up.
I think we have reverb.
Wake up, palm tree cigars when I wake up. I want a new job.
Yeah, so here's a reverb. I forget which one I used back then. Maybe the Lexicon 224. I was like heavy on that back then. So this is a reverb here. So the vocals are all going to this reverb. V-Swat is here, says $1 says, is there any genre where reverb is on the drums? 80s stuff, more pop stuff where the drums are very dry. They want them to sound big, so they'll do it like The Weeknd, or they call it like ballad rock or ballad pop, stuff like that. It's more of an 80s technique, but even till this day, you know, more like acoustic drums, they'll use room reverb on the drums. Maybe they won't use big plate reverbs, but they'll use room reverbs on the drums to create the illusion that the drums are in a space.
Palm tree cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
So we have a lot.
I want a new car when I.
We have a lot of track stacking. So what I'm going to do is look at this collision. It kind of is the cheat code for where to EQ. It just shows you where do frequencies build up. So right here I see it about 160, which is the fundamental frequency for most of these takes. We're just going to do a dynamic here because I don't want to turn this down all the time. I only want it to turn down when it goes above a certain point.
Wake up, palm tree cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
So now it's not so like when all those vocals stack up. That's the frequency.
Wake up, palm tree cigars when I wake up.
Also, it looks like we have a lot of low frequency information. I recommend only doing this per track, 24 dB per octave, cut off somewhere around like your lowest fundamental, an octave lower. So this would be, I think my fundamental is at, let me see.
Wake up, palm tree cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake.
So that way it cleans up that like low rumble.
Wake up.
Can you please explain the drum pattern of drill and trap? It's called tresillo. It goes ta, 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 ta. Drill is at 144 BPM. I cover that in my shorts. I have a lot of YouTube shorts that cover drum patterns. Just check my latest YouTube shorts. They cover drum patterns. I know you got a workflow going right now, but when you get a chance, can you show how to do that sidechain with stock plugins? It's not the same. If I showed you, it wouldn't be the same thing. If you wanted to do the same exact thing that I just did, which is not the same. I just want to make that clear. It's not the same as a regular sidechain. The way you would do it is find your kick.
Wake up.
Let me find a kick first.
Wake up.
You would find your kick. You would right click the up arrow for your bass and you sidechain to this track. That's the first step. You would have to, technically, you would have to go to your thing that you're trying to turn the volume down on, add a fruity parametric EQ2, and you need to know where the frequencies clash. So you could assume or you could just guess or whatever, but let's just say the frequencies are usually going to clash around 60 to about 100 hertz. So let's pull this down to about 60 hertz. And what we need to do is make sure this is not boosted or cut, it's regular. So next, what we need to do in FL Studio, to do it the way I'm doing it, I'm saying, we need to go back to the kick. Now, see how tedious this gets? And we need to add a fruity peak controller. Fruity, where's it at? Peak controller. So we're not going to do anything with that. We're just going to go back to the bass, go to our EQ2, and we're going to right click on whatever thing we're using to turn down, which is this one here. We're going to right click and link to controller. Then you need to link to an internal controller called the Fruity Peak Control Peak. Then make sure it's only the peak. Hit accept. So now when the kick hits, it will turn down this value. Now what we need to do though is set the bass level, because right now it's turned off. So now it's basically saying that it will infinitely turn it off unless the kick hits, it will turn the volume up. So we need to tell it to not be infinitely off. So we need to find our kick, go to the Fruity Peak controller and set the bass level to about, I think it's 50%. Let's see what that looks like. But you see how many steps are involved here? It's tedious, right? So 50% will reset that value back to the baseline, basically. It's a bipolar value, so 50% means equal to 0 in this case, for those who understand what I'm saying. So now every time the kick hits, it will do something to that specific point. So what we want to do is tell it to turn the volume down, not up. And we can tell it how much volume. So let's just say we wanted to turn it down 25%. I'm reading the value in the top left. So that's how you do it with stock plugins. And then you just have to mess with the bandwidth to widen it or make it smaller.
When I wake up, I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up.
Actually sounds pretty good. It sounds better than what I was expecting. Maybe because I already had the Pro Q3. When I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Sounds decently, but again, you to kind of fix it to make it right for you, and I'll leave that in here for you specifically. I'll turn that off though for me, but for you, I'll leave that in, and you will get the project files for free. The question is, how much volume do you take out in percentage? I don't know what's equal to 3 dB, so that's something you would have to you would have to go back into the peak controller and keep tweaking the volume knob until you get the amount that you need out of the 808 or the bass or whatever. Hopefully that helped. Sir, I have another doubt also, which means on FL, how we will take automation on external plugins like FabFilter and other things. On my PC, it's not working. How do you automate FabFilter? What are you trying to do with FabFilter? I'm not sure what you're trying to do. In FL Studio, if you want to automate plugins like third-party plugins, you click in the plugin, go to the top left, go down to where it says Browse Parameters, and here are all the things you could automate. It will pull up a list. Then you can right-click and create an automation clip for that specific thing, or you could link it to a controller. If you guys have a MIDI controller or something, you could do it that way. When I wake up, I want a new job when I wake up. So I kind of lost my place of where I was at. How many people do we have in here? Hopefully y'all got those gems I just dropped. I need to make an FL course, huh? Up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. So here's before the EQ on the group. Wake up, palm trees. Listen to that. That was getting a little dense on my ear. Wake up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard. I mean, it sounds good, but it's just too much stacked up when you have multiple tracks. So in this case, I turned that down using a dynamic EQ so that only if it goes above a certain point, then it's going to turn the volume down. Wake up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job.
And the technique for recording is left, right, center. You know, I did multiple takes and multiple harmonies. So that's, so now it's just about clarity and making this song feel a little bit bigger. Thank you. I appreciate you, the gift. Let's run this back. So I'm going to look at the mid-side EQ on these instruments here. There's a lot of build-up. I can hear it. Let's turn that down.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up.
Peace, West Side. Appreciate y'all being here. So now we're going to switch this to to side mode, and we're going to preview the side. See where we have too much energy and where we don't have enough. So most of it lives right around this zone.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm tree.
Oh, you know what? I forgot that was the instrument track. Okay. So now we're going to work on the mix bus or the master, and then maybe go back and mess with the drums.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up.
So let's start with the limiter just to get these peaks. Where we at here? I feel like the bass is not strong enough. Let's turn these instruments down. Now I feel like the bass needs a little more priority in the mix.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up.
All right, I had a dope lead in there. I couldn't hear
New
it.
car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up.
Let's try to pan these. Actually, they lose some identity. Let's just get rid of the resonance points.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I
Like the
wake
vocals
up.
need to sit a little higher. Oh, I didn't even add the limiter to the vocals, that's why. So the vocals are kind of fighting with the drums. So the first plugin I would usually add is an LA2A or an 1176 Blueface. Next, we're going to move into a limiter. Pro L2 is a good one. I'm going to turn the look ahead up. That explains why I couldn't.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I...
Now the vocals are sitting on top of the beat as opposed to fighting with whatever's at... There we go.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Call me, go hard when I wake up.
Let's boost the lows a little bit with the EQ here. Keep in mind, this is more of a harmonic exciter.
new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go.
Now the tricky part is when those vocals come in, they start fighting with that bass. We could technically sidechain the vocals to the bass, but what's happening is a masking effect. So when the vocals come in, they're eating up all the space, and then when the bass tries to come into the party, there's not enough space. Like imagine a bunch of people into imagine a bunch of big people walk into the room, and then another big person tries to come in, and the room's already full. That's what's happening.
I want a new.
Also, let's check the side image. I feel like there's a lot of stuff on the side of this track. Let's see. Feels like a lot of low frequencies on the side. So again, when you need to clean up a track, look at the sides. Yeah, there's a lot of frequencies around 60 hertz that don't need to be there. So let's chop those out.
I want a new car when I wake up. Cigars when I wake. Big old heart when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees.
Now, the more you cut on the side, the more centered your stereo image will be. So you got to be careful not to cut too much.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
I want the bass to sizzle a little bit more on the high end, but I might be doing too much. Let me pull up Spectre.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
I might get rid of that last adjustment I made, but let's see. So we have Spectre, harmonic excitement, EQ on the sides. Let's look at the mono signal now. I wish there was an easy way to monitor mono here. Let me see if there is.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up.
Okay, so apparently that mid-side panning. Okay, so maybe this is our way to monitor the mono.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
Take up some of that energy. Take away some of that energy on the vocal. It's a little too aggressive coming in. So I'm in the mono mode right now. We're only listening to mono. Just trying to figure out where the energy is so we can pull it back on the vocal. Where's my vocal?
When I wake up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up.
Just cut a little bit here at 5. These are like tedious cuts, but all together when you start adding it up, yeah, this PC is rocking. I'm glad this thing turned on today. So again, we're listening in both mid and side so that we can determine what needs to be taken away.
Wake up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new.
So here's our lows in mono. I feel like we need that energy. It's very bouncy. Now this we don't necessarily need.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly.
I want to make this dynamic so it's not cutting the entire time. I know we're making little moves, but
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees.
Okay. So we're still listening. Next, let's listen to the side image. And let's see if we could do anything with adding or moving stuff away. So here's the side image. iZotope is very good. I would say FabFilter is more precise and more like easy to use. iZotope's newer stuff is great, but the problem is it has a little bit of a visual effect on the computer. It like stutters sometimes with the graphics, at least on my Mac, but I'm Noah. But FabFilter, I would say if I had to pick one, it's FabFilter. But iZotope technically can get a better sound, technically. But I like FabFilter though. Yeah, I didn't understand why everybody loved FabFilter. I was like, I don't like it. It moves too fast. The stuff always goes up 20 dB when I move the knob. But when I really like sat down and used FabFilter, I'm like, oh freak, why was I using anything else? That's how important it was to my workflow. Whereas iZotope didn't give me that same feeling, at least workflow wise. But it does have great maximizers and great imagers and everything. All right, let's get out of side mode. Let's go back to the, how do we reset this thing? Let's put 0, okay.
I want a new car when I wake up.
I don't mess with Sonable. It might do more technical stuff, but I don't like the interface and everything.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up.
So everything's trying to be wide in this mix, and that's part of the problem. The vocals are trying to be wide, the bass is trying to be wide. We got to figure out what needs to be wide.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I...
So I took away that width of the bass so that the bass can just do movement instead of trying to be everywhere.
I want a new...
Let's run this back. And then we'll just hit it with a limiter, and then we're done this mix. Excuse me.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
Trying to debate if I want the bass wide or not. Give me a second. It still feels like it just might be the sounds selection.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees. Want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I...
Like we need to pick a dominant force. It's either going to be the bass or the vocals. So what I did, which is like anti everything I just did earlier, is I pulled the vocals in a little bit more mono. So instead of being like a wide V shape like this, all the vocals pan left and right, now it's like a tighter V like this. But there's still multiple vocals there, so it fills in the space. So sometimes making a track wider, you got to pull stuff mono so that the stereo stuff feels more stereo. It's a good idea to subtract all stereo separation on 808. Let me read that slower. Do I think it's a good idea to subtract all stereo separation on the 808 and FL? To subtract? No. I like sometimes 808 wide. So the answer is nah. Most 808s that people listen to are actually, they're not mono.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up.
Right now I'm just listening to the entire picture of the track. I might boost the highs on the side. Make it feel bigger than it is. See how the track opened up simply by boosting the high frequencies on the side? Here's before.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees.
Gotta figure out where that symbol is. Hold on.
Car when I wake up. Palm trees.
Okay, so that's before.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I.
And here's after, so it's a pretty big difference.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up.
The side information is really where all the like tricks are. Thank you, LC on the beat. El Conda. Remember I said that? We're gonna move to another beat after this. I feel like we need a little more movement. Let's add that compressor. So again, I only want this compressor to move when the kick hits or the bass. So I'm going to set a look ahead for 1, and for 2, we're going to set a sidechain input to listen to only to the bass. Most people tell you to use a high pass filter, but that's more for like rock stuff that has like high end drums, because the snare is more of the movement. But here the kick is the movement, so I want to listen to only the kick. So I'm telling the compressor only listen to kick stuff, and only turn on the compressor when the kick hits.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up.
So it's a very subtle move. I didn't really do anything dramatic. Now, if I made this more dramatic like this.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I
hear the volume like going down and up, so we don't want that.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up.
Pretty much done this. I'm gonna play it one time through, and I'll mute my mic so you guys don't hear background noise.
I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. When I wake up, palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calmly go hard when I wake up. trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up. I want a new car when I wake up. Palm trees, cigars when I wake up. I want a new job when I wake up. Calm me, go hard when I wake up.
I balance those instruments a little bit better and maybe add a little bit bass back into the vocal. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Moog Subsequent was, I need to pull that thing back out. That was a great synth. It's in my closet right now because I don't have room for it. I don't even know where I will put all my synths. I have so many synths. I have no room in this room for the synths. I probably do, but they would have to be like stacked all the way up. All right, let's do one more track. Hopefully you guys are learning stuff. For the 30 people in here, if you could just smash that like button for me, I'd appreciate that. And again, you will get the project files for free for anybody watching the replay. Let's save this to the... I'm going to zip all the audio for you guys, so that's going to take some time. Actually, I probably should do that after the stream. But if you guys have any questions real quick, I have a little bit of time. I know it's only 30 people. Don't feel pressured. Actually, we're going to use this time to preview other tracks. All right, so we have War. What is War? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I think this is just a beat, so let's see what this is. Oh, this track. Forgot I did this one. Pick a hot one with a verse on it. Let me think. That has a verse on it too. Let me see. Runoff on the Plug was okay. Can't say that was the greatest song ever. Stolen. Let me see what this is. I think this is a beat. Hold up. A lot of these, I made like 100 tracks, only recorded to like 20. Yeah, I think I did like a monologue over that. I didn't record a verse. Runoff on the Plug, I know for sure is alright, but I'm trying to give y'all maybe Fly On. Let me see if I even have the vocals on here. I don't know why everything's not the vocals. I must have recorded to a different hard drive then. Oh no, help vocals. Here we go. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Be right back. forgot. Yeah, I made all these crazy tracks. Hold up. Wrong cam. Who else is up in this piece? Alonzo, you made this beat? Yeah, it's from 2018. I found my project files from 2018. So we're just mixing the stuff that I recorded, what, 6 years ago? No, wait, 2018, 6 years ago. And the reason I pulled the album down off of streaming is because I had music videos and everything. I like did a lot of stuff for this album, but I took it down because it just didn't reflect my brand, my current brand. That's the power you should have as an independent artist. All right, so what we're gonna do, I think this has a decent verse. Let me see. I think I'm singing on this though. Fly on, let me see. Thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate y'all. Let me mute this somewhat. All right, one of these. I think this is a singy track. Yeah, I don't think it's that dope verse.
Out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive. Her curves are picture perfect. Shorty, I just want your number, name, and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage. She can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama. You can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though. You just taking photos. A freak in the sheets. A freak in the bed. A freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets.
All right, so we're gonna mix this. This is decent enough. So again, first step, get rid of any duplicate tracks, the master, any group tracks. I think this is a
like hopping out that purses, hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses.
I mean, let me think about this actually. Hold up. We might be able to. Never mind. This looks mixed. I could tell because the original vocal looks kind of hollow, and then this one looks filled out, which means I compressed it. So we're not gonna use that one. Ice Mike, those recordings you were making right before you moved to Cali were a long streak of hot ones. Dang, you were back in the day, and when you first moved in your studio. Wow, thank you firstly for being there. Secondly, yeah, life was different. Quiet King, hi friend. I recently started doing beats. I chose to do beats because I always saw myself doing something with music. It's a beautiful thing. It is. Your tutorials are the best ones I found. Thank you. I'm gonna screenshot that. Both of y'all, actually. Thank you for that. So I'm just trying to give y'all knowledge on how to mix. Maybe realize that y'all don't need to know everything about everything. Or maybe you need to learn more about something. I don't know. What up, that's Big Reg. First thing, again, just get rid of duplicates. I'll try to move quicker on this one.
Right lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, I'm faking cause we right lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on.
I think hook 1 and hook 2, it's hard to tell if that's a group or not.
Right lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl.
Yeah, that was a group, so let's get rid of any group tracks.
Right lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on.
We're missing something on the left, though.
Riding on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me, ain't faking cause we ball. Riding lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Riding lonely.
Can't tell if these are the same takes, it's panned differently.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me, ain't faking cause we ball. Riding lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right.
That auto-tune was auto-tuning back then. I will never forget, yo. I thought I had the dopest track. It was called Miami. We went to do a music video for it. I hit play and nobody was dancing to it. I was like, yeah, let me go back to the drawing board. This was during the music video shoot. I was like, yeah, we got to do a different song or something because it was embarrassing. It was not even embarrassing. It was just revealing. I was like, dang, nobody's moving to this beat. I'm watching your drill tutorial from a year ago and I'm following it step by step. Applying my own sauce though, of course. And it's coming out pretty cool so far. Dope. Thank you. I guess that's a testimonial right there. Thank you, Nian. Appreciate y'all applying knowledge and having fun with it. It's all about creating your own sauce at the end of the day. Like, you only want to pick up the concept. All right, so I'm gonna move. I'll try to move quicker here, y'all. I know it's a long journey here. Again, first step, if you're watching the replay, is I'll send everything to the mixer. This is why it's so important to label your tracks in the mixer. Hit Control L. It's just so much easier to visually like group stuff. If you don't label stuff, you'll have a hard time doing this. So it looks like we had 2 basses. This bass sounds dope. Sound designing EDM sounds. Currently, I haven't talked too much about EDM sound design. I need to actually focus on that a little bit more. I gotta study, and then I'll make more videos as I learn stuff. How about that?
I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me.
So again, my technique is right, left, center.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me.
I can't take it with the tell.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me, and you faking cause we ball. Riding lonely, I'm waiting.
I think that's the same track.
Fly on, fly on, fly on.
All right, so something in here needs to be center.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me, and you faking cause we ball. Riding lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Riding lonely, I'm.
What mono is really when something on the left side is perfectly matched with something on the right side. That's what mono is. Stereo is anything when they have a difference. That's what stereo is, or side information. That's what side information is. So right here, what I'm doing is panning it so that we have still a mono object, I'll call it, because they have equal parts left and right. But technically nothing's dead center.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you.
Except for this one on here.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting.
But even with these two, it still feels like it's centered because there's a lot of similarity. That's why auto-tune sometimes collapses your image. Anyhow, moving on.
Riding lonely, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Riding on me, and you faking cause we ball. Riding lonely, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on.
So we're gonna hit Alt left and right to move stuff around. I'm gonna grab this hook, right click, route to this track only. So what I do once I group everything, I'll start turning it. I'll mute the group so now I can hear everything else. One of these is a reverb, but I can't tell. Here it is. So I'm gonna put the reverb send all the way to the right, just so it's separated. Now we gotta find our drums. We have our bass. We need to find our drums. And again, my technique: mute everything. So these are already grouped, so technically we don't need these tracks here. Okay, so again, my trick is pull everything closer together, hit Alt right to move stuff around. It's a lot easier. Also, I can kind of tell by the name. Again, I know this is super basic, but this is like 80% of mixing here. Is organizing your track. I'm gonna separate out the instruments, and then we have a vocal group. So here are our drums. So it seems like we only have like 4 drums. Let's right click. We are going to route these to an empty mixer insert and then call this drums, and then pull this to the left, hit Alt left, pull this over. And what I'll do here is add a separator. How to make a P. Diddy beat. So now the drums are all separated. I'm gonna make them all one color. Same with the hook. I'm gonna make it one color. So the vocals are green, drums are red. whatever this track is just kind of floating around. So now I can see visually like what has been organized, what hasn't been organized. Color blue for the bass. So now that's separated. And then what else do we have? And then everything else. So let's unmute. So lastly we have instruments and the vocals. I'm reading the tracks so that we don't have to do a bunch of stuff here. That we're not using. Any unused stuff, we're just gonna put it to the right in the mixer somewhere. Verse, harmony, verse.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect. Shorty, I just want your number, name, and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up.
Let's create an instruments group real quick. Instruments. And then we're gonna highlight, seems like the flute and the chords are all I have as far as, and then there's a lead group somewhere in here. Yeah, lead group. It's getting a little messy. Right click, boom. Hook vocal group. I think we need that. All right, I think we have everything separated. And then vocal, flute. Hold up, y'all. Flute, boom, boom, boom. All right, the little dot on my screen is so low. Okay, anyhow, we're gonna make this a different color. And then now we just need an empty track for the vocal group. And then we're gonna route everything to the vocals. That took forever, but it was, when you do it, it's worth the time. Goodness, that took a decade to do that. Okay, route, boom. This is what, for those who don't know about the studio life, this is what interns or like engineer assistants do. They do all this stuff. They organize the thing before the engineer goes in because they know it's just time consuming. It's not even about skills, it's about being organized and time. It's very time consuming. Okay, let's make this yellow. Okay, so the vocals are yellow. Hook is green. These could be any colors you guys like. They don't have to be these colors. The drums are red. And the instruments are pink. And the bass is blue, if I didn't already say that. Okay, now we have everything. Now we could start turning the faders up of the groups. Again, the first question I ask is what needs priority? Yeah, I was going through it back in 2018. It was a lot of real life bars. Actually, this met her when I was 16. That's a story. This isn't a true story. I feel like we're missing a track. So since it feels empty, I'm going to open up the other track.
I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with a purses.
Now, usually when it comes to lead vocals, I don't have multiple things. Peace out, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Again, you can catch us on the replay. I don't expect anybody to stay here. I'm just appreciating everybody for being here. Can you guys feedback my beats from YouTube? We do that every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Stereo acid bass. Could be. Maybe when we get there. What was I thinking? I lost my train of thought. Oh, here I'm just prioritizing each group. Vocals, hook, drums, bass. What needs to be loud, what doesn't need to be loud. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you. Right on me, I'm faking this week. Right on me, I'm waiting for you. Fly on, fly on, fly on. So I feel like the bass needs to be a little bit wider. This one. Let's use the imager. Let's stereoize the bass because I believe it's a mono sound coming from my Moog subsequence. Let's turn the stereoize, widen it out. We want a time delay, pretty big time delay. If you don't have that plugin, you could also use Fruity Stereo Enhancer. That would create a nice sound for this type of sound. It's not the same thing, it's just a nice sound. This actually might be better. And for the sub bass, we're going to pull up 60 and 75 hertz, whatever is closer. So it looks like 60. Already has that vibration, but let's boost it a little bit. Just to really get the trunks rattling there. Remember, you can hit Alt, right click to, I think, let me hit Shift. No, it doesn't do anything. Never mind. Dubstep on the casual. I don't make a lot of EDM type stuff. So the drums need to hit a little bit harder. We're going to run them through standard clip. They're pretty clean drums. We don't want to saturate them too much. Just want them a little bit louder. Keep in mind we're taking off some of the dynamic of the drums by saturating them like this. You guys could also use Fruity Wave Shaper and turn the mix level to about 50% pre-up, turn your oversample to 4x, and make your curve more concave like this. It's not the same, but here's before, here's after. It just makes them a little bit bigger. IDM, yeah, I've heard IDM and EDM. Do people just drop the word EDM now? It's not IDM, it's not EDM anymore. Let's start slowly bringing the instruments up. Let's hear the verse. I'm going to do the same vocal chain we did before. IDM is the experimental scene blowing up. I see. Intelligent dance music. It's so good, it's my brain can't even fathom it. All right, so for the vocals, you guys have seen this a million times because it's really just the same vocal chain. I've studied under a mixing and recording engineer. His name was Ron DiSilvestro out of Philadelphia, and he showed me a compressor. It literally is lines where it says turn it here, turn it here. They never touch it. Like, they just never touch the compressor. They make sure that the signal going into the compressor is loud enough. So some stuff you don't need to do a bunch of magic tricks to. It just sounds good.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses.
Faster release will create more harmonics. Faster attack, more harmonics. We're gonna pull it to a slower attack and then pull the input up so it goes through this compressor.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that
Now I think my Avalon 70, I think I recorded into my Avalon 737, and I think I turned the compressor on, so the vocals are also a little compressed already. Good flute plugin. I mean, look at Rolling Cloud, they have pretty good stuff. I think I used Omnisphere for this. I'm not sure, it was so long ago.
Met her when I was 16, like my
all my like recordings of this are my live streams from years ago, So I recorded all this live stream.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect. Shorty, I just want your number, name, and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though, you just taking photos. A freak in the sheets, a freak in
the vocal's cool. I wish I had Soothe on this computer, but I don't. There's a tiny resonance in the low end of my vocal. I'll solo it so you guys could hear. It starts to go like this a little bit. It doesn't sound muffled. It just sounds kind of heavy. So I'll show you guys with that. Yeah, that 1176 into a blah, blah, blah. I need some water, y'all. Struggling. The 1176 Rev A, which is the blue face, into the Pro L2 from FabFilter is like the go-to chain. I learned that from Streaky. It just sounds so clean going through that limiter like that.
Met her when I would.
So it's like met her. It says that frequency. Okay, we need to tame that so that it's not super aggressive.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect.
I like to work in threes, increments of 3. Looks like I didn't chop the low end here, so let's do that. Let's do 80 hertz and below. Now again, it depends on your guys' fundamental frequency.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses.
Because sometimes cutting the lows makes it sound too boxy.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect.
So here's before.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect. Shorty, I just want your number.
It makes it a little telephony when you add that high pass.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body right.
Because I'm cutting out the actual source of my sound, which is my fundamental frequency. If you cut it too much, it sounds fake. So that's why I gotta be careful, because my voice is in a different register than other folks.
Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama and save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though, you just taking photos. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak.
I think the original had delay on it from what I remember. So I'm not gonna do all these. I'm just gonna add delay straight to the track because I'm lazy. And let's pull it back a little bit.
I'm southern like this caddy. Name and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road.
So this is not time sync, so that second delay is kind of just floating around. I don't know the original BPM of this track, so I'm gonna eyeball it.
Name and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this cat. Name and your address. Name and your address. Name and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though, you just taking photos. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed.
So the only thing this track needs is a little more dynamic range, but I'm gonna move a little bit quicker because I'm losing my voice here. So I gotta preserve it for tomorrow. Alright.
Name and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though, you just taking photos. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead.
Just working on harmonics on this track. Again, my trick is like pulling up on the side with the highs. That usually fixes the depth problem. So what I did so far in the master is added a compressor that only listens to the kick, so it pulls down the volume with the kick, because the kick usually drives the song. Where do you get inspiration for some of your songs? Life struggles, being hurt, anger. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of my music came from when I recorded it back then. And that's the sucky part, is like, I want to make songs, but I don't want to have to be angry, sad, to make a song. Like, I want to make a song when I'm super happy about something. So I want to record. It's got to get in the flow of things. But this is from 2018, from a while ago.
Name in your address. Oops, I meant
yeah, I like MB. Sometimes it gets a little. I like it though.
Name in your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage. She can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama. You can save up all that drama.
For this track, boosting the highs on the sides doesn't work because it's not high frequency heavy on the side.
Name.
So gotta do something else here.
Name in your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage. She can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama.
So let's open up like more of the vocal in the synth.
Name in your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage. She can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama. You can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though. You just taking photos. A freak in the sheets. A freak in the bed. A freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets. A freak in the bed. A freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead.
He said collab with Marshmello. He's happy all the time. Did you struggle with creativity at first? If so, what helped? I mean, learning. I had to learn a lot, like a lot. But I would sample in the beginning, and then competition really helped. Like joining a beat battle or something like that. You guys got to feel like what it feels like to go against somebody else, because then you level up just like 10 levels just by going against somebody. And then after sampling and doing competitions, I would release my own songs. And usually that comes from like life stuff that kind of leads you down that pathway. You don't really decide to drop a song, it comes out of you type of thing. What else? And then that's pretty much. And then learning techniques. But you gotta like, learning is different for everybody, but you really gotta sit there and like say, I'm gonna learn something new today. Like you really have to embrace something new. Do you do review shows as well? Yeah, Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Today is what? What's today? Sunday? Now, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we do beat battles. So if you have a beat battle, that's a great day to come in. I mean, if you have you know what I'm saying. My brain's on like 2 brain cells, so I gotta finish this, guys. High-end cutoffs to make the bass focus during the chorus. Again, the bass is too bright. Also, too, I don't know if, oh yeah, we can. Okay, so I don't know if this compressor, I don't know how to put it on mid-side mode. I see a stereo side chain input, but I don't know if that affects the mid-side image. Let me see something real quick. Output pan. Never mind. I wanted this compressor to compress only the mono, but I'm not sure how to do that yet. I forgot to mix the hook. So since I'm lazy and I don't feel like doing a bunch of work, we're going to copy the lead vocal preset over to the hook because I'm just lazy. I don't feel like doing that. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you to go. Right on me, I'm faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you to go. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you to go. Right on me, I'm faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you to go. True, everything's trying to be wide. You're right. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you to go. Now this is where I'm just being lazy. So you're right. So that's a great idea. So basically what he's saying is during the hook, everything's trying to be wide. So the bass being wide doesn't really add ear candy. So what we're gonna do is turn off the stereoizer only during the hook though. The thing is, I don't know the tempo of this track, so I'm kind of eyeballing it here. This looks like when the verse comes in here. Let's hit Shift Alt, or Alt, left click. Wait, there we go, and then boom, boom, something like that. Now again, I'm not gonna do it the whole track, but here's the idea.
Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on.
That definitely changed the whole dynamic. So that small little thing Doug pointed out pulled back a lot of dynamic in this track, simply by stop trying to make everything a wide. But okay, so
I sleep when I'm dead. Right on me.
let's do that again. I like the sound of it. Funny enough, I think, wasn't it your idea to make it wide to begin with?
Right on me.
No, it's funny. But yeah, this is the stuff that pro engineers do. They'll sit there and like do that purr thing.
What if got you everything? I bought you a wedding ring, 'cause a diamond just a butt. What if?
Let's run this back. So far in the master, we have a compressor.
Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Met her when I was 16, like my verses. Hopping out that Beamer 6 Series with her purses. Her body writes in cursive, her curves are picture perfect. Shorty, I just want your number, name, and your address. Oops, I meant address. I'm southern like this caddy. I just want marriage, she can't wait to call me daddy. I don't want no baby mama, you can save up all that drama. Girl, I just hit the road, though, you just taking photos. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. A freak in the sheets, a freak in the bed, a freak with the head. I sleep when I'm dead. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. What if got you everything? I bought you a wedding ring, 'cause a diamond just a buck. You're a diamond in the rough. Time flies fast when you're focused on the bucks. When your hips move slow, half the time it's speeding up. Take your mind for a ride, 'cause I'm quick to gas you up. I'd just be a fool if I missed out and passed you up. I just hope that you're feeling the same, 'cause love is such a dirty game.
That was like an added verse.
Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for you, girl. Fly on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me, you ain't faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm waiting for
Apparently I
you,
didn't double up, didn't realize
fly
it.
on, fly on, fly on. Right on me, I'm just waiting for you, girl. Right on me,
probably gotta go
I'm
back.
faking 'cause we go. Right on me, I'm
So y'all can fix it if y'all want these project files. I'll give this to you in the thing. So I am exhausted. Just wanted to give y'all more value today. Ice Mike, the dog. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. All 30 soldiers. To everybody else, thank you for watching the replay. Mentexo, peace out.